whispers are getting softer. Shouting is getting harsher.
All right, guys, welcome back to another edition of the Purple Pod, the best K-State podcast out there. My name is Steve.
I'm Ken.
And I'm Cody.
And in today's episode, we're going to be previewing K-State at Oklahoma State this weekend. I'm pretty excited about that. K-State is 3-1, just right outside the top 25 in college football polls. Oklahoma State is 2-2. We're going to go ahead and get right into this. Kenny, why don't you go ahead and give me your initial thoughts of K-State at Oklahoma State this weekend?
Well, my first initial thoughts, Steve, are I'm just really glad that the Big 12 is gifting K-State another bye week. You know what I'm saying?
He is not holding back.
I mean, come on, man. We're going against Okie State here. What is that? I mean, it's like a walkthrough. It's like a practice walkthrough here. I mean, there is nobody on that team. They don't have any players. They just lost to the Iowa State Cyclones, man. This is not a team to be worrying about. So, K-State, enjoy your double bye week. And Cody, I'm going to throw to you now.
Wow, that's going to be hard to follow. Yeah, but anyways, so think of it this way. Last year, we had just lost to TCU 38-28, and Adrian Martinez goes out, right? Who comes in the next week to get their first start?
Will freaking Howard. That's right. And not only that, it was the biggest lopsided win against a top 10 team in the country. And he had 4 passing touchdowns, which was a team record. So I don't know. That was when they were number 9 in the country and they were to be feared. And kind of like what Kenny said now, they don't have an identity. This is not the same Oklahoma State we've seen in the past.
No.
And I mean, they were up 35-0 at halftime. Remember the Deuce Vaughn touchdown, the 1-yard touchdown, right with about 7 seconds to go. So even though K-State hasn't won in Stillwater very often, what happened?
Say that again. No, what did you say?
Oh,
sorry, there's an ad playing in the background on this ESPN tab.
I don't even remember what I was talking about. But.
Well, I'll take it over from here. So the only thing that makes me like it just kind of raises an eyebrow is that Coach Kleiman has not won at Stillwater. That raises the eyebrow a little bit, but does that make me really that worried? No. I mean, they don't even know who their quarterback is. They're probably going to play Bowman. Oh, man, we are coming off of a bye week. We're looking really good. Before that, with an injured Will Howard, he still played out of his mind. DJ Giddens, we've shown that we can run the ball. We showed we can throw the ball. Offensively, we're looking good. Defensively, we're struggling a little bit because we lost Daniel Green. That's a huge person to lose, but I think Austin Moore stepping up as a captain. But let's just get right into it, Steve. Let's just talk about the offense here first.
Okay, well, my initial thoughts before we get into the offense.
Let's get into your initial thoughts first, then we'll get into the offense.
My initial thoughts are K-State's significantly the better team. And I said it in preseason when we did our preseason, picks. I thought K-State would win by 2 touchdowns in this game. And I remember Kenny saying that he was a little bit worried about this game. And, of course I am. Any road game you're going to be worried about. It's a night sold-out game on Friday night in Stillwater, Oklahoma. K-State's only won at Oklahoma State one time since the year 2000. I mean, Darren Sproles and that team that won a Big 12 in 2003 didn't even win there. In fact, I believe the only time K-State won there was in 2017. I believe Skylar Thompson was a freshman. I think he had 3 or 4 passing touchdowns. Byron Pringle had 3 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns or something like that. And I know he had a couple receiving and returning. But I do think K-State is the better team here, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It should be a close game throughout, but I'm still liking K-State here in this game. Let's go and bring up the stats that I have made here. Hope you guys like the graphic, of course. All right, here we go.
The viewers love the graphics, man. I've heard a lot of people say that like we're like the only podcast that really does this. So
they're pretty much
we
saying
appreciate it. We appreciate you doing
they
this.
all say that we're like the best podcast out there. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share to your friends.
That's right.
Turn on the notifications. Like I said, 90% of our viewers are not subscribed. Hit the subscribe button.
That's a lot of percentages.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right. So we're going to talk about the K-State offense versus the Oklahoma State defense. As you can see here, K-State's got the advantage in almost every part of the game. K-State scoring offense, 14th, compared to the 55th for Oklahoma State defense. Total offense, K-State is 15th in the country. I love seeing that with Colin Klein as the OC. Total defense for Oklahoma State, 69th. Nice.
Yeah, gotta give shout out to the 69.
There we go. Passing offense for K-State, 284. Passing defense for Oklahoma State, 75th. And then the rush offense for K-State's in the top 30 at 29th. And the rush defense for Oklahoma State is 65th.
Oh, my God.
K-State has scored a touchdown on their opening possession all 4 games this season.
Let's keep it
Cody,
rolling.
does K-State keep that going this week?
Absolutely. There is no reason that should not happen. And then, I mean, think about this. K-State has pretty much gone over 400 yards every game this season, right? They've gone over 500 twice. They had 536 against UCF and only gave up 31 points. And you're telling me that Oklahoma State, coming off a loss, they don't know who their quarterback is. Yeah, sure, they're at home. A little bit of an intimidation factor there at T. Boone Pickens. But, I mean, seriously, they're going to come out. They're going to execute. They've done it against much better teams than this. I don't see any reason that trend doesn't continue. The trend I do hope ends is, we've talked about, and Kenny's been on this, is that charity interceptions from Will Howard, 1 per game right now. So they'll clean that up. But I definitely say there's no reason they don't score on the first drive. I would be completely dumbfounded if they did not score on their first drive.
So, Kenny, K-State got back that's right tackle Christian Duffy. We saw 50-plus snaps from Keegan Johnson. He should be full go this week. Your man, your guy, RJ Garcia is full go to go this weekend. Trayshawn Ward is back. The offense has all of its weapons. Are you pretty excited about this weekend's?
Yeah, dude. Everybody's rested up. Everybody's at 100%. They're going full speed. I think the only person that's out is Asa. I think they're redshirting him. That's unfortunate. But I mean, other than him, I mean, everybody else is ready to roll. I mean, look, we were worried about last game, and we were able to, with all those people that were out, and we were able to put on a freaking clinic of the run game. And now we just got Trayshawn Ward back. So now we can rest DJ for a little bit, get him back out there, switch him out with Ward. I mean, looking at this rush offense versus their rush defense. I'm like, dude, this is going to be insane. This is going to be, even if you guys were excited about what DJ did against UCF, holy smokes, you're going to be like blown away by what kind of performance we're about to put on against Okie State Cowboys. Oh my God. We should just have the W mailed to us. I mean, we don't even need to leave the state of why are we even leaving the state of Kansas? Why are we even going down there?
Here we go. Here's a question for you, for both of you.
All right.
Over under 1.5 punts for K-State in this game. Obviously, K-State's got the big advantage of their offense versus the Oklahoma State defense.
1.5.
Over under 1.5. So will they have 2 or more punts, or 1 or less punts in the game?
I'm going to go ahead and say they're going to have 2 or more, because they're going to put their entire freshman, their true freshman offense in there. Once we get like a 38-point lead in the first quarter, I think they're just going to bring all these people in, and we're going to play all of our new guys. I think that we're going to have more than just 2 punts, but that's just me. That's because I think they're going to have everybody, they're going to have their towel boy playing like the game. Like, that's how much we're going to beat them.
Cody.
I guess it depends if we're talking all 4 quarters or not. I mean, Kenny has a very valid point. If K-State is going to get up big and then expect expect the second teamers to come out and produce
Wait
at that
until
same caliber.
Wait until you hear my score prediction, Cody. Wait.
I'm looking forward to it. But like the offense right now is just rolling. They are Lamborghini offense right now. V12, 5 million horsepower. They're 15th in the nation. And surprisingly, though, they're 5th in the Big 12 in total offense. And that number one team, they met, like I said earlier, UCF, they only gave up the 31 points to. So I'm excited for this game. But I do think I agree with Kenny. There will be more than 2 punts, but I think both of those punts will probably come in the second half, if that's fair. I think they score on every possession in the first half.
Oh, baby, let's go.
K-State
Let's go.
is 8th in the country in third down offense at 54%. That's a pretty high percentage when you consider that the third down defense for Oklahoma State is 67th at 39%. K-State should have no problem moving the ball. And even when they get to fourth down, I feel like K-State's fourth down offense or play calls, for the most part, are pretty good. I do agree with them. I feel like K-State will punt 1 or less times in the first half. I do think K-State will have 2 or more punts in the game, but most of the time that'll probably happen in the fourth quarter when K-State is winning by more. Now,
as long as Cody doesn't show up at the damn game, I think
Cody, don't go to this game. Don't go to this.
We're gonna break the streak.
Not gonna happen.
Does Will Howard continue his dominance? He's averaging 2 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, and 0.25 receiving touchdowns per game. Does Will Howard continue his offensive firepower? And also, is he going to throw another interception? Is he going to keep scoring touchdowns, but also keep throwing interceptions? What do you think, Ken Giddens?
Oh, well, I'm going to just – I think the biggest problem that we have is that we don't have a guy like Cade Warner from last year.
Yeah.
You know, who could just be like that solid guy that we just – if we need some yards, doesn't have to be like a crazy big play, but and Malik Knowles, like we had these really like solid go-to guys, and now the only guy that we really have is Brooks.
Phillip Brooks.
Phillip Brooks. He's like the only one that we can really throw to. And I feel like and Ben Sennett's there, but Ben Sennett's a fullback, you know, he's supposed to be a fullback, but he's like playing tight end sometimes. And he's a player. I mean, he can get in there and get some stuff done, but we need to have somebody like a Cade Warner step up, and I was hoping that'd be RJ, but you know we just haven't seen it yet. And when you have and also you know getting Christian Duffy back, that's going to help a lot too with the line. But when you don't have somebody that you can just guarantee get some throws down, it puts Will Howard in a really tough position. You know when you got like maybe only one guy to really throw to. So I'm hoping that somebody can step up. Keegan Johnson, maybe. I'm looking at you to maybe make something happen. Absolutely. But, you know, we just had a lot of injuries, you know, in the receiving end. And I don't blame Will Howard.
Put Will out there. Throw it to Will.
Yeah, Will, get out there. I don't blame him for too much of this, but it does really fall back on him anyway because it's, you know, it's stats against him. But, you know, I really hope that trend stops at like UCF. You know, I don't want this to be a continuing thing. I mean, and I don't think it will be against this team. You know, but stranger things have happened in college football. But I know that with the bye week coming in, I think we're going to be on our A game. We're going away. We don't want to have happen what happened at Mizzou, which Mizzou actually is ending up looking like a good team. Yeah, they're 5-0. I mean, like that, they're shocking people. So, you know, the more they win, the more we look good. So, you know, for like barely losing to them. But anyway, enough of them. But anyway, like, so being away, it's our second away game. And we're coming off of a bye week. Everybody's coming back from injuries. We should be running full speed. I think I hope that this doesn't happen again. I hope this interception trend like stops at like this last game, not this game, but the UCF game. I hope that's the last interception Will throws for maybe a few more weeks. Like, give some credit to some other team, maybe like the one team that we're worried about is Texas, but
Sure.
give some credit to that team. But like, I hope we should be able to take care of business offensively. Our receivers should be able to start making some plays. It can't be DJ Giddens the whole time. It can't be. Like, I mean, he's going to be a playmaker, and if we do need him, like, it's good to have a guy like that just be able to like go in and make something happen. But I'm hoping somebody else steps up other than just Ben Sennett. Ben Sennett and DJ Giddens are not the whole team. Like, and Will Howard can't do it all himself. So I really hope. I'm really just looking at Keegan Johnson, RJ Garcia, Phillip Brooks, just be solid, and then Trayshawn Ward coming in, make some plays happen.
Yeah, and I think Trayshawn Ward coming back is going to be a good addition. I remember this game last year. Malik Knowles had one of his best games, 113 yards on 8 catches and a touchdown. And you mentioned the solid gameplay from Cade Warner throughout the season. He had 2 touchdown catches in that game for 97 yards. But Phillip Brooks did have a touchdown. He's familiar with that defense. And really, defensively, their best player is their safety, Kendall Daniels, who's the current leader for tackles. You don't want your safety to lead your defense in tackles. He has 31 tackles on the year, and they have just been giving up more than 300 or so yards practically a game. And Kansas State's offense is much, much too good for that. And I mean, Kenny, you were right. DJ Giddens, I've been on this kid for a long time. I'm glad he finally had his big game, 30 carries for 207. I'm hoping he'll get a much lighter load this game, maybe 18 carries, somewhere between 15 and 18 carries. But yeah, Ward's gonna take some of those catches, I think, if Ben Sennett or Phillip Brooks or no one else really shows up. If Jaden Jackson can come out there, Keegan Johnson, RJ Garcia, whoever it is. I mean, You're right. We need to have a solid receiver besides.
It's kind of nice to know that DJ Giddens can handle that load, though.
Yeah,
I mean, he was, and all the coaches made the comment that even after all those carries, they said that he still seemed fine. Like he seemed healthy and good to go. So, like, I mean, that's just even more confidence that I have for him. Like, wow, this kid just like played a game like that, and he's walking away like just fine. Like everything was all good. He was like a little bruised, but I mean,
yeah. And, he had 200 yards and 4 touchdowns, which was the best in school history as far as that. Doak Walker, National Running Back of the Week, Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week. And it made me remember, like, man, I started to think, who else has had games like this besides the big names that come to mind, like Deuce Vaughn and
Jordy Nelson,
Darren
Sproles. But Alex Barnes, the last time we had a 4 touchdown rushing attempt with Alex Barnes against Oklahoma State in 2018, and it was the first time we also had a 200-yard running back since Alex Barnes went 250 on Baylor. And so, Alex Barnes is a name that sometimes gets forgotten, and
he left early for the NFL, and unfortunately nothing happened for him. But
yeah,
he was pretty good at K-State.
Yeah, he was, and he's one who sometimes goes unrecognized. So I just wanted to throw that shout out to running backs past.
All right, what do you think, Steve?
I think Will Howard is going to continue his dominance. I see 3 or 4 touchdowns out of him. I think we're going to have a couple more rushing touchdowns than passing. I think he's going to have 3 rushing, maybe 2 passing, a couple of long passes that get short down at the 1 or 2 or 3 yard line. He's going to do either QB sneak or a zone read. I do think Colin Klein will look to run the ball quite a bit this week with his entire offensive line back. We had 6 guys, 6, 7, 8 guys that can play, and they looked really good against UCF. I'm hoping that they can continue that against a pretty lackluster defense, if we're being honest. It's not a great defense. Now, they're not terrible, but they're not great. And I think K-State's going to continue to run the ball.
They got a couple players.
Yeah, and I don't see Colin Klein getting away from the run. And I don't think that Chris Kleiman wants him to get away from the run either. Having said that, they have talked about how they want to get the ball downfield more. I do think that Will Howard will look to throw it deep a couple times. Whether or not that results in an interception remains to be seen. He's thrown 1 per game. It might happen again this week, but as long as we're taking shots, keeping the defense honest, I think K-State will be just fine.
What do you think about Avery Johnson coming in?
I think Avery Johnson will come into the game early, first or second quarter, run the ball a couple times. I think they are going to try to throw the ball of him once or twice as well. And then in the fourth quarter, I do see him coming in at some point as well.
I agree.
K-State's averaging basically 40 points per game on offense. I think K-State's going to score close to that. K-State's definitely going to score close to that. I think I'm going to up my prediction that I had said to a friend earlier this week, and we'll get into predictions later. But I like the K-State offense to get the ball rolling, passing, running. They shouldn't have any problem. I know their crowd is going to be into it. I don't know how much of a factor a crowd is going to play into a game when the team is just better. So we'll see what happens. Could be a high-scoring game. I don't know. Could be a low-scoring game. We don't know. But I like K-State.
It's not going to be a low-scoring game on our side.
I like K-State's odds with our offense for sure. Any other thoughts on the K-State offense before we move to the defensive side of the ball?
No, it's going to be a slaughter, man. We're going to be punching. We're going to be taking some huge shots on their defense. I mean, for sure.
Well, and the fact that Oklahoma State gives up, as you said, it's 371 yards per game. K-State's averaging 375 in their last 10 Big 12 conference games. They're not just playing some subpar opponents. They're putting up yards on good quality teams. And we like to run the ball, and that's going to be to our advantage again because they're giving up almost 140 yards per game on the ground. You have a 2-quarterback system. If you throw Avery in for a couple plays that can run the ball, him and Will Howard, then you have Trayshawn Ward and DJ Ginnett. You could even throw some end arounds with Phillip Brooks or someone else out of the slot. I mean, there's just too many weapons. And that's funny because it's usually the other way around. Oklahoma State's usually a team that has the better offense that you're worried about, but they have no identity right now on offense. And it's kind of crazy to me because when you look at the team stats, they've been doing this 3-quarterback system and I don't think it's been working.
No.
With Bowman, he's going to get his third start against K-State, but he's thrown 100 passes this year, 3 interceptions to 2 touchdowns. And that's your number one guy. That's your ace in the hole. So K-State
that ain't going to be enough.
Yeah, K-State's defense is good. They're going to pin their ears back because they're going to get up early and often. They're going to take the crowd out of it by halftime. Similar to kind of what they did last year when this was a much, much better team. And it's it's just hard for me to fathom to see Oklahoma struggle as much as they are this year. And the fact that if Baylor doesn't have that miracle comeback, you're looking at Oklahoma State and Baylor as the worst teams in the conference. And it's crazy to me right now. It's just crazy.
It is crazy to me as well. I think K-State's going to get close to 500 yards. I think I'm going to say over 500 yards of offense, 250 pass, 250 rush, plus 250 plus, of course. I think balance. K-State's going to roll on offense. Now, we've talked about the K-State offense. Let's talk about the K-State defense. K-State defense, scoring defense is 34th in the country, going against the 101st scoring offense. Oklahoma State has had a tough time scoring, though they did score some more last week. So we'll see, and we'll talk about that. Total defense for K-State is 44th, 97th for total offense for Oklahoma State. Now, the one advantage that they have on K-State is the passing offense versus K-State's passing defense. K-State's passing defense, let's be honest, we'll call a spade a spade. K-State's passing defense has not been good whatsoever this year. 113th in the country, allowing 264 yards a game. Now, Oklahoma State's passing offense isn't great. I mean, they're 84th in the country, about 30 spots better there, averaging 222 yards per game. Let's see here. The rushing defense for K-State is still a top 10 team here. 6th in the country, allowing 73 yards a game. Rushing offense for Oklahoma State is pretty much non-existent, 101st in the country, averaging 122 yards per game. Kenny, I'm going to go to you first here. Are you worried still about the K-State passing defense? And do you think Bowman and his receivers are going to be able to torch K-State's secondary, or do you feel like K-State has made some adjustments and figured it out?
Well, you have to understand that we also were going against like much better offenses
Sure.
than this.
Yeah.
And so to say that like the passing defense is going to be, worse, I just don't feel that just because of the fact that we were going up against better receivers, in Mizzou and UCF. Like they had some players, man. And but we still, I mean, that is something that we need to work on, obviously. But it's tough on defense, man. Like when you lose your captain, like after the fourth game or third game of the year,
Sure.
that hurts a lot, And but luckily we were able to have that bye week pretty early, so we can get
Some guys help.
Austin Romaine up to speed. That way we can get Austin Moore a bigger voice. I mean, he's already kind of stepped up into that role anyway as sort of the captain of the defense now that Daniel Green's gone. And we just have to be, on our A game. We have to work on our communication and make sure it's better, I guess. Like I always say that the defensive line is unbelievably talented. I mean, we're insane. So we're good on that end. We just need to worry about the passing and it's tough, like we did make the excuse early on that they're young guys, but we can't make that excuse anymore. They've they've got plenty of games under their belt right now that they need to really kick it into gear. I don't think we're gonna have an issue against Okie State's offensive receivers. I feel like we were going against much superior teams than this. So I think the numbers are a little bit skewed because we were playing against harder opponents and they were obviously not playing as tough of opponents. So that's my take.
And I know Steve has always been highly critical on the DBs, and that's fine, rightfully so, because they have given up explosive plays. And UCF, the 4th and 15, we can't get off the field and we give up that meaningless touchdown, right? And if we can get off the field or have a 4th down stop against Mizzou, we're looking at 5-0. However, Kenny made a valid point. Like they played against Missouri offense that seems to be really, really good, and the UCF offense, which was number 1 in the country. So I think this is going to be the game where the K-State DBs are going to show out. They're finally going to solidify that. They're going to shore up all of those problems that plagued them in those 2 games against UCF and Mizzou, and they're going to bounce back, and they're really going to have a good game. I see at least 2 defensive turnovers. The K-State defense, I'm looking at Austin Moore to continue to have a big game. When you talk about their defense, they're giving up 73.2 rushing yards per game, and Oklahoma State's running offense is not very good this year. They're the number 6 defense as far as stopping the ball, and then
pressure up front is going to be unreal. That quarterback's not. I mean,
right.
The pressure up front is going to be so hard to deal with.
D line is going to be eaten for sure.
Yeah. I mean, they're 5th in total defense in the Big 12 behind only Texas, OU, Cincy, and West Virginia, like total, but 3rd in points per game. They've only given up 74 points for the whole season accumulated, even with the 31 points given up to UCF. And so they're only giving up 18.5 points per game. And, that's 3rd best in the conference behind Texas and OU. And let's be honest, Texas and OU,
they didn't play anybody
Texas
yet.
Played Bama, but OU hasn't really shown who they're capable of being. They haven't beat anyone. They haven't earned my respect yet. And honestly, I think Texas is going to beat them. I know that's a whole nother subject, but
let me break this down for you. Oklahoma State went against the Arizona Sun Devils and they barely won. And Arizona Sun Devils are the worst team
Arizona State,
in the Pac-10. Like they are the worst team, and they barely beat them.
And they gave up 33 points to South Alabama, who I believe is like 1-3 or 2-3 or something. Yeah. They're not even a good team.
Well, yeah, and K-State's top 15 in 4 areas on defense. In rushing defense, 6, tackles for loss, 6 with 9 per game. Sacks, they're 10th in the country with 3.5 sacks per game. That's going to be where Duke and Moore and those guys are going to be solid. You said the defensive line is going to eat. They're going to surpass that average. There's no way they don't get at least 6 or 7 sacks in this game, especially when they get up by 21, 25, 30 points and they're forced to throw the ball because we shut their running game down. I don't think they're going to even get over 50 yards rushing in this game, to be honest with you. That offense has no identity besides the running back, Ollie Gordon, which, to be fair, he's the only one who's had multiple touchdowns besides their quarterback this season. And it's just crazy to me because their receiving core, used to hearing about great receivers at Oklahoma State.
You mean Des Bryant and Justin Blackman and Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, you have
seriously.
Yeah, you have Jaden Bray and DeJon Stribling have combined for 413 yards as a team and 1 touchdown. And then the next best guy, Jay Nixon, has 10 catches, no touchdowns. And they're averaging 121 yards per game, like on the ground. That's just not Oklahoma State. And
you're talking
we're going to have them under their average in every probably statistical category, except for maybe one area, time of possession. I don't know. Just because it won't be a clean sweep. But
Oklahoma State doesn't have the quarterbacks they used to have. They don't have the receivers. I just mentioned a couple, probably Oklahoma State Hall of Famers. They don't have any of those. They don't have the running backs they used to. Their whole offense is just not good. Now, K-State's passing defense has not been very good. Very, very bad, actually. 113th passing defense in the country. Not good, but like you guys said, K-State has played some tough opponents. I mean, Luther Burden, he's a real deal. Like he talks some mad stuff after the game. Not a big fan of that, but overall,
his personality sucks.
Yeah, it does. I still do not like that guy.
Yeah,
but he's a good player. He's a really, really good player. The UCF receivers and the entire team, honestly, is the fastest team I think I've ever seen. Like those guys are ridiculously fast. And K-State's played. They were the number 1 offense in the country when K-State played them. I do think K-State has made some adjustments, moving Savage inside and VJ Payne outside at the safety position. I think the corners are only getting better. I do feel like if there is a speedster receiver out there, they are going to move Keenan Garber in there because Keenan Garber can fly. Like he's very fast. And so I feel like they feel like he can run with a lot of really fast receivers. But if you want a big physical corner, you're going to leave in Will Lee in there. And he's played pretty well himself, honestly. He hasn't. What's that?
I said I'm just super impressed by Will Lee. I think he's insane.
He's really good. And and even the touchdowns he's given up, a one-handed touchdown, which what are you going to do about that? The other one, he was literally right there on it. And he played about perfect defense there. So overall, I feel like Willie's played pretty darn good. It's just the safeties, they have to get better. And I feel like they will this week. Now, middle linebacker still concerns me with the freshman Austin Romaine starting. I was hoping that Jake Clifton would be the starter there coming off the injury, but they said, actually Coach Kleiman said at the press conference that they want him more as like an outside linebacker, especially as a guy who's coming off an injury. They don't want him taking all those hits from the offensive lineman at middle backer. They want him to be able to back up all 3 spots and play all 3. And so they don't want him starting at middle backer. So Romaine he's just gonna have to get tougher and tougher and just get accustomed to playing without Daniel Green there. He's the guy. He's the guy. You know what I mean?
I have faith in him. I think he did fine against UCF.
He did okay. He did okay. He can definitely be better.
He had some of those costly penalties. So if he does see some playing time, that has to be different. That really could have been costly.
Now, in terms of the Oklahoma State offense, they've had 2 weeks to prepare for the game. So that they have figured out some holes in the K-State defense. And I'm sure they've also figured out some trick plays and some new stuff they're going to run because let's be honest, their offense has not been very good. So they need to come up with something new and something exciting for their fans to get excited about. I do feel like they're probably going to run 3, 4, 5 trick plays during a game. They're going to run some double passes, some reverses, some deep balls, all sorts of stuff. They're going to try maybe a swinging gate as well. I don't know. They're going to try a bunch of different things against the K-State offense to try to move the ball and score. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if K-State's ready for it. I do feel like K-State's going to give up some points. But in the end, K-State defense is just better than the Oklahoma State offense, in my opinion. So you guys got anything else you guys want to say about the K-State defense
versus
Oklahoma State offense?
Yeah, and you were talking about Austin Romaine. I thought that might have been one of the keys to victory in the last game, and he did not play bad at all, like you mentioned. But let's talk about one of Kenny's favorite guys, Austin the Machine Moore. Right, he is basically leading the team with tackles and tackles for loss. He has 7 tackles for loss. As a team, the Cats have 36 of them, so he accounts for 20% of the team's tackles for loss. He needs to continue to show up for the defense, especially when you mentioned Green being out. I'm kind of upset that Asa Newsome is out. I liked
Me
what
too. I
saw
like the
from
guy.
him. So I wish him a speedy recovery. But yeah, this defense is going to be just fine. Again, 3.5 sacks per game. Duke has 4 coming into it. I see Duke getting a pair. I see Moore getting a pair, and maybe even Savage on a cornerback blitz or something
Dude,
along that line.
Uso is getting at least
Dude,
one, if not
You
2.
think
Dude,
so?
what about
Oh, yeah.
my boy Desmond Purnell? Man, the guy was freaking on
That's
fire
true.
last
Yeah,
game.
we haven't even said
He's
his
going to
name
get a
yet.
pick.
We haven't even said his name. Put some respect.
Ooh.
Put some respect on my
Dude.
boy name. My boy
K-State needs
Desmond
at least-
Purnell. Put some respect on his name.
K-State needs at least 2 turnovers forced in this game.
Easily.
Dude, Purnell was the one that got that dang
He did.
punched
Punched
that
it
ball out. Yeah, dude, it was crazy.
Yeah.
He led the team in tackles last game.
And I would like to see Kobe Savage be himself again, get an interception, get a couple big hits, get back there, get fired up. You know what
This
I'm
is
saying?
going to be a highlight reel for every player on both sides of the football this game. I mean, it's just going to be a highlight reel.
There's going to
I
be
feel
some
like-
pad popping by the K-State.
It's going to be like, what are the hot takes? Because it's like, I feel like any hot take is going to be like a reality take. You know what I mean?
I feel like this is going to be similar to the K-State West Virginia game from last year, where West Virginia kind of like early on, they were moving the ball. They were doing some nice things, even though they had a pick 6 early. Like overall, they were moving the ball. They just didn't have enough guys to keep going, offense or defense. And K-State still won by, I think, 3 scores. And so I feel like it's going to be very similar to that. They may score a couple touchdowns early, passing the ball, but overall, they just don't have the guys to keep it going late. So, anything else on the K-State defense? All right, let's
Jacob Parrish, he's 1.5 pass breakups per game. He's a top 10 cornerback right now. I think he also needs to make a name for himself in this game. Someone who's kind of been lost in the fold. He really needs to show out as well.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to move on to a part we really have not talked or touched on like at all in previews. And we're only talking about it because K-State has struggled there. Let's be honest, K-State special teams have not been good, particularly against UCF. 17 cannot miss any more kicks. Like, I understand he'll miss 1 or 2 or 3 throughout the year, but like he can't continue to miss a PAT and from the 16-yard line. You can't miss a field goal from the 16-yard line. You just can't. Like, points matter. And thankfully, it didn't matter that much in that game. But for a while, it probably did matter. Like, it would have helped at certain times in the game, but at the end, it didn't matter. But I feel like K-State's special teams needs to be better. But hopefully, K-State's special teams can return a kick to at least the 50-yard line, maybe for a touchdown. I don't know. It kind of feels like this might be a game that K-State might get a non-offensive touchdown, either defense, special teams.
We've been waiting for it.
We have been. I called it out last week. I couldn't believe
We've
it.
been waiting for it. I mean, it's been.
I mean, KU has like 2 or 3 of them at this point. Like, we don't have any. What is happening?
That name. How could you? People are saying they're the best team in Kansas right now, but I don't know if I'd agree with that.
They're not the best team.
I had somebody.
Go ahead.
I had somebody like ask like where they could find a KU shirt. I said, try the garbage can. All right, go ahead, Steve.
I would have said something.
If Daniel was playing, they would have beat Texas.
Are you guys worried at all about the kicking game for K-State?
Well, I mean, Coach Kleiman's press conference, he said that, he Tennant, right? He was, I guess, really focused on like getting better. He said that like, in the last year, like he hasn't seen him this focused and this like determined to like get better. He's seen a different side of him. I think these kicks that he's missed are, maybe it doesn't show that it's really gotten to him, but I think it's changed his way of approaching how to get better, and it's obviously showing a different side of him, and the coaches seem to be confident in him, and he seems to be confident. So that's all we can really hope for. I mean, the guy apparently, evidently he's got some talent. He's good. I mean, from what they see, and I can't judge anything other than what they see. And if they're telling me hey, I'm hearing it from them, they're like, no, this guy's good. He's skilled. He's focused and he's determined to get better. It's okay, well, I don't know what else to say then. Okay,
and he's had to earn that position back. I mean, he had that rough patch last year and was benched for Ty Zitner, who never came back. Yeah, and he never came back. So
and he never missed a kick either. He missed zero kicks.
Yeah. So I know Chris Tennant has to be thinking about if he has another bad performance, he may be benched again. So of course he's going to be focused. I mean, he's got to be working.
It's all up here for him. I feel as a fan, that's what it feels like. It's just all up here for him. And I feel like if he just gets confident and because that second kick he missed, that first one was a bad
55-yarder.
That first one he should not have missed. He really should not have missed. But that extra point he missed that because he missed the other one. Let's be honest. It was in his head still. You know what I mean? So
it's like a golf swing. When you have one bad golf swing, sometimes it repeats itself.
Well,
but
and go ahead.
With K-State going on the road, the kicking game has to be solid.
It has to be better. It has to be better.
Yeah, 4-1 in the last couple of road games. That Mizzou game still to me is a fluke, or 4 of their last 6. But Kenny said this a long time ago on the show. Kleiman only has 1 win against Oklahoma State, and that was last year.
Let's make it 2.
I said he's never won in Stillwater.
But he still only beat Oklahoma State once.
He's only beat him once. Yeah,
he's 1-3.
And the field position, if you're looking at this stats award graphic from Parker Clemming here, K-State is definitely better in special teams. And they usually are compared to their opponents, but they're significantly better in field position and all of that. Basically, if you're looking at K-State versus Oklahoma State, there's a lot of red, which is not good on Oklahoma State's side, and there's a lot of blue on K-State's side, which is good if you're looking at the percentages and where it ranks and all that. K-State here has a win probability of 74% projected score, basically 31-21, which I would take that. I mean, I personally, I would take a two-score win. I would take a 1-point win, as long as K-State wins. That's all that matters. We're going to get into our score predictions here, and we're actually going to flip-flop. We're going to do our K-State hot takes after. So when we're looking at the K-State versus Oklahoma State preview here, K-State's favored by 12, over under 54. I'm going to go first here. I initially said K-State was going to win 38-24. I said it to my friend Zach, who is actually an Oklahoma State fan. I'm actually got K-State winning 41-24. So 3-score win. K-State's going to get in the 40s again. It might be ugly early. It might be 14-14. Late first quarter, early second quarter. K-State's just got more dudes. They just have more dudes than Oklahoma State. K-State wins 41-24. Kenny, what's your score prediction?
Everybody at this point knows me as the optimist when it comes to the K-State, points on their side versus the other side. And I've always been like, oh, K-State, they've got that they're going to keep on this 40-point plus trend. Well, they're going to break that trend and they're going to score 56 points this game. It's going to be a 50-plus game. This is going to be their first 50-plus game of the year, and I'm giving OSU 2 touchdowns.
56-14.
56-14.
Wow. I also think K-State's going to keep that 40-point train rolling. I would love to see the 50. I don't know if they will.
I would love it too. I don't see it, but I would love it.
They have the potential. I don't disagree that it's not possible. It is possible, especially if they get some defensive touchdowns or the punt return or kickoff return or something on special teams. But I was thinking more of a conservative 45 points for the Cats to 13, considering it's not a
huge blowout.
To me, that is conservative thinking about this offense right now. They've the one time they scored under 40, they lost. So they're going to keep that 40-point train.
That is true. That is not something I had even thought about. So,
well, judging
and looking at this graphic, I mean, it looks similar to the Mizzou graphic of
it does.
projected points, win probability, and I was very confident K-State would go into Columbia and win. You know, I still have my crow as a reminder. Don't do that again with, you know, K-State going into Oklahoma State, but I still they're going to win by a lot.
I hope so.
They are. They're going to win by a
well,
lot.
Mizzou is
gonna
looking
bet
like a better
anything on
team than we expected. We have a lot more footage of OSU with other teams, and for crying out loud, they lost to Iowa State, for goodness sakes. Like,
Well, in South
I mean,
Alabama, I get it, but
it's unbelievable. And also judging like what we saw. I mean, I mentioned this on the last episode as the you know, the reaction to the UCF game. Dude, Chris Kleiman was fired up that game. Fired up. And if you don't think he's going to be even more fired up about this game, you've got another thing coming. He wants to win. He wants this win more than the UCF game at home. He wants this win real bad. He wants to win in Stillwater. It's like an itch that's probably you can't quite get it. You know, it's like an itch right there. Like he wants it bad.
He can win in Norman easily. Yeah. Why is Stillwater such a problem? But historically, he stayed in the last 25 years. They've only won 2 or 3 times in Stillwater.
Since the Big 12 inception, it's like happened like you said 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I don't understand the hex. It's kind of like, and I don't want to say this, and I'm sorry, Coach Tang, but when K-State goes to KU, there's just some type of advantage in that building. And for whatever reason, when K-State travels to Stillwater, they absolutely struggle. But I don't think that's
not this
year. Issue this game. I just wanted to kind of not overhype how good that K-State's going to play against Oklahoma State as if it's a done deal. They're going to walk in and get a W.
No, I'm worried,
they're
man.
They're going to have to earn it, and I mean, it's a conference road game, but I still don't. They're going to win, but if they don't win, I mean, we would definitely have a really, really, really bad situation on our hands. But
if K-State loses this weekend or on Friday, I should say, it might be time to panic on the season because you cannot lose this game if you want to get to Arlington. You just
I'm not even gonna bring it up, dude. Like I said earlier, this is a bye week for us.
Okay, I like it. I'm not sure I share the same optimism, but I like it. All right, so that is our score predictions. We're gonna get into our K-State hot takes segment here, where we talk about our hottest take of the game coming up this weekend. I'm gonna go last here. I'm gonna go to Cody first. What is your biggest K-State hot take going into K-State at Oklahoma State on Friday?
So I anticipated going last, and because of that, it changed maybe who I was going to pick. But I'm going to stay true to my guns. Since I get to go first, there's a little bit of pressure. But my K-State hot take. See, I had to write it out to make sure I didn't mess it up this time. Kobe Savage finally gets a pick. He's going to get one. Austin the Machine Moore is going to get a fumble return from a quarterback sack. He's going to get a fumble recovery from a quarterback sack. And K-State wins in Stillwater for the second time in the last 10 years. Final score, K-State 45. Oklahoma State 13. And then K-State's going to have 415 yards of offense. Howard's going to be 22 of 28. And Giddens 18 carries for $115 and a touchdown.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Ken Giddens? How can you compete with that? He's got all his stuff ready to go. Like he wrote down his stuff. He was ready to go. I don't know.
I had to.
He was ready for his hot take. He was ready for his hot take. Now my hot take is kind of resemblant to my score prediction, where they're both really hot. K-State's finally going to break the mold of getting 40 points a game, and they're going to get 50, but it's going to be done by Will Howard's arm. He's going to throw 4 touchdowns in the first quarter. In the first quarter.
Oh my gosh,
that's my hot take.
I love it.
Very hot.
That's my hot take for this week.
I love it. Okay, well, I don't know if I can compete with both of those, but my hot take: K-State's Phillip Brooks is going to return a kickoff for a touchdown. He's also going to catch a touchdown, and he's going to run for one on an end around. I think he's going to have 3 total touchdowns this weekend. And our guy, DJ Giddens, is going to run for over 100 yards again and at least 1 or 2 scores. This is going to be a great game for the offense. They're going to be rolling, and that is the K-State hot takes. So we're going to get now into look around the Big 12, and then we're going to get out of here.
As you're looking around the Big 12, I got to say, I want to call out to you UCF fans. Look, I know you're coming into the Big 12.
I was at your house watching that game, dude.
You're coming into the Big 12, and you're pretty hype on, like from your previous seasons. You guys are AAC champions a couple times, and it's looking really good for you guys. You're coming in, you have all this, hype around you. You lose to the defending Big 12 champs, K-State, in a dogfight. There was it was humbling. You guys were, you guys weren't talking trash. You actually came in thinking you were going to lose, but you guys put up a good fight on an away game. That was pretty good. Then you go against Baylor, who it's not a good looking Baylor. Let's be honest here.
No, they're not.
And it's at your house, and your student section leaves at halftime when you're up 35-7. Not saying it's your student section's fault, but you guys,
no, it's a player's fault.
You guys let off the gas.
They didn't score again.
You cannot do that here in the Big 12. You can't do that. You're gonna let Baylor do something. I remember what we like Steve just said. He was at my house. We were watching this game. We were just kind of flipping through channels, and then we just see Baylor making these plays. Steve makes a comment. He's like, "Oh, if Baylor stops here, they got to score quick." What happens? A fumble.
They get a defensive score.
The next play, they fumble happens. They pick it up and run it for a touchdown. I'm like, Steve, you just said they need to score the. They need to make a stop and score soon, and then they make it a defensive touchdown. It was unbelievable. I mean, hats off to you, Baylor. UCF, you don't know this, but Baylor is that team that you just cannot. You can't do it. You can't just let them go like that, man. You got to keep your guard up at all times. Baylor has burned so many teams like that. You think you're up, you think you're good. I mean, that one year that K-State, we were like undefeated, looking like we were going to go to the national champs.
We were 10-0, number 1 in the country.
Number 1 in the country. And what happened? We went against Baylor, and Baylor was that team. So UCF, I feel your pain.
52-24. I'll never forget that game.
Yeah. It still hurts me more because that cost us a national championship berth.
Oh, we were going. My wife and I, we were
going to
beat
Notre Dame.
We were going to the national championship. We were going to be there. K-State would have beat
9-point loss.
K-State would have beat Notre Dame. No doubt in my mind.
K-State
beats Notre Dame.
Comeback is still that's hard.
So
not as hard as our loss. I still think we had it worth. But
the comeback with the biggest comeback in Baylor history is not nearly as hurtful as being the number 1 team and losing to that season. So UCF fans,
we understand.
It hurts. I know the pain.
In 2012 isn't even the worst one. 1998. Let's be honest.
Texas A&M.
K-State's up 15 points in the fourth quarter, and they lose in double overtime. K-State has a ball with like 3 minutes left, and actually like 2 minutes left. And Michael Bishop gets the first down on 3rd down, and he fumbles. They come down to score and get the 2-point conversion. We go to overtime, and K-State loses. Double overtime. So we've had ourselves some hurt for sure.
Yeah.
All right, enough hurt talk.
But this is our year, man. This is our year.
I hope so.
It's looking good. I'm not going to allow OU and Texas to be like, I don't want to play with you guys anymore. And then literally like look at a roster of teams where we can't even play them except for K-State's like the only hope that we have. Like I can't stand the fact that OU and Texas are like, we don't want to play with you guys because you guys can't play with us. And we're just proving it to them. Like it sucks because other than K-State, we don't really have any teams that
K-State and West Virginia are like the only hopes for the Big 12 to beat Texas or OU in a championship.
It's not KU because we just saw KU play Texas, and they weren't. Texas
They weren't ready.
Texas was phoning it in the first half.
We were watching that whole game, and they looked
and they were still beating KU. They were
over
phoning it in.
yards. It's over 600 yards, and they weren't even trying.
Like Steve and I were like, they're like, why is Texas playing so bad? They're literally looking like they're going through the motions.
Yeah.
And then the second half they come out, they obviously
they
add a little gas.
They still didn't even play that great.
Yeah, it looked like they were just doing a walkthrough, and they still beat them so bad. So there goes KU, man. Like, sorry, KU fans, but y'all.
K-State is the Big 12's only hope to beat OU or Texas. Speaking of the Big 12,
all right,
let's look at the Big 12 here. All right, so we have K-State, Oklahoma State on Friday, 6:30 ESPN. K-State favored by 12. Outside of that, we have OU Texas Saturday morning at 11. Woo! Texas favored by basically a touchdown.
It's a coin flip. It's a coin flip. That game's a coin flip.
Yeah, it'll be a good game for sure. We got UCF at KU. KU's
like
favored.
That game.
KU is favored by 1.5 points. That is.
That's is Daniels playing? Is Daniels playing?
No, he's not.
There's no way UCF loses that game. UCF is pissed off.
Yes, they
Yeah,
are.
but they're playing at. They're playing at KU though.
They're playing at KU. Yes, they are.
You know, that fan base isn't intimidating in Lawrence.
Texas Tech at Baylor, 7:00. Texas Tech favored by 1.5 points.
That's a good game.
And then TCU at Iowa State. TCU favored by 6 points. Outside of our game, of course, which of these games?
West Virginia and Cincinnati have a bye week.
I guess so. It ends right there. So,
you know, as much as I hate to say it, we're not the number one game of the week. It's obviously going to be all eyes on the Red River rivalry, but I don't think it's going to be as close as people think.
It's a coin. It's a coin flip, dude. I think so.
I don't think Oklahoma's as good as they've been.
I would take the over on that one. Over 60.5. I think it's a high scoring game.
Yeah, I think Texas is going to win by probably 10 points. And think about last time they played, didn't they shut them out? They want revenge.
49-0.
Yeah.
Damn.
Texas won 49-0 last year.
And that was at OU. They won 49.
No, they play in Dallas every year.
Cotton Bowl. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
So, Kenny, do you think that's the best game of the weekend outside of K-State, or are you looking at something else here?
I'm actually curious to see UCF in Kansas.
I am too.
I want to see UCF, like, I want to see them win, but but Kansas, man, they obviously they didn't have Daniels, and I do not want KU fans to use that as an excuse as to why they lost at Longhorns.
Daniels doesn't play defense, so
exactly, yeah. I think all these games are actually. I think K-State actually has the easiest game of the week. I mean, I think it's the most one-sided game of the week, which is great for us. But everybody else, I mean, Baylor, how can you go down 35-7 in the first half? Like, that's a problem. I mean, he was 35-7 with 7 minutes left in the third quarter. Like, that's crazy. And then they went out and did like 28 unanswered points for the fourth quarter, which is wild. Like, I don't think that that's going to happen against another Big 12 team. I think Texas Tech. All these games are going to be so one side, like coin flipped, in my opinion. Like, I have no idea who's going to win. TCU does not look like a dominant team.
I mean, all the other games are a touchdown or less, right? 6, 1.5, 1.5, 6.5. I mean, they're all close games outside of the K-State.
It's going to be a good weekend. It's going to be a good weekend.
Yep.
Steve's going to come over Friday, watch the K-State game.
Yeah, I'm working homecoming. That's going to be a long day for me.
Can I use the same chair I used last time?
You can use the same chair. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right, then I'll be over.
Yeah, you can bring a pillow and blanket.
Sweet. All right. Can I have a sleepover?
Yeah, a dude sleepover.
Savannah can Steve for the night.
I do agree. I do believe KU UCF is the game that I'm looking forward to seeing the most outside of the K-State game, because I want to see how UCF responds to last week. I want to see how KU responds to last week. We'll see which team is for real and which team is not for real. I mean,
Yeah, they're both coming off of big losses,
KU's,
big in the sense
yeah,
that UCF shouldn't have lost that game in Kansas. KU playing in Texas, playing in at the Longhorns, playing there in that environment, huge crowd, and then they
yep.
lose by a lot. They took a huge loss. I don't think they even scored in the second half.
No, they did.
They did.
They did.
Well,
Yeah, they scored.
If UCF wants to stay competitive in the Big 12 with that win,
they need to win this game.
Yeah, they'll be 4-2, 1-2 in the Big 12, which would then drop KU to that same exact record.
I think
I'm always in favor of KU suffering. So I'm going to be all in on UCF.
Do you think it's going to be TCU 4-2, UCF 4-2, Kansas 4-2? I think we would be 4-2, right?
No, we would be 4-1. We'd be 4-1.
Sorry, yeah, 4-1, and then
overall record.
Overall record
2-0 in the Big 12.
Yeah, and then
it'd be crazy if K-State wins. K-State would be like one of like 2 or 3 teams with an undefeated conference record after just 2 or 3 games, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, if Texas wins and West Virginia has a bye week, so
yeah, it'd be K-State, West Virginia, and the winner of the OU Texas game, basically, because BYU is lost, Cincinnati is lost. I don't know who else, but
yeah, we're just cannibalizing ourselves in this conference right now.
We are for sure. Houston is lost, of course, as well. So,
dang, yeah, they're also having a bye week. Jeez, this is a big.
I like it. I'll go through my picks real quick. I like K-State, by 12 points or more. I like Texas by 6 or 6.5 or more. I like UCF to cover 1.5 points versus KU. In fact, I'm picking UCF money line, of course. How can I not? I do think Texas Tech beats Baylor at Baylor. We'll see.
Really?
We'll see which Baylor team shows up. Is it the team that got slaughtered by Texas in the first half versus UCF, or is it the team from the second half versus UCF that beats Texas Tech? I don't know. I like Texas Tech to win by more than 1.5. I like them by 6 or 7. And then I do like TCU to win as well in a close game at Iowa State. I got them by 3, so I would actually take Iowa State on that line.
You taking the under?
I am taking under as well. Under as well.
I agree with everything you said except for the Baylor Texas Tech game. I really think Baylor.
I think Baylor might win.
Newfound swagger now that they've had. Like, I don't know if you were on Baylor Twitter after that game, but they were going absolutely bonkers. Sure, they could have a letdown at home with Texas Tech coming, but I see it being the other thing. I see this being the thing that energizes them, gets them focused and playing on the right foot. They were dead in the water, and now they have a second life.
Well, you're not going to get a defensive score every game. You're not going to get a UCF team that was at the 2-yard line, and they ran a pick play to score a touchdown, right? Which sometimes does not get called, and then they back them up, and then their kicker misses a field goal. You're not going to see that in every game, and they only won by 1 point. Like, I think it was more of a fluke because Baylor has not played good all year. And so outside of one half, I think it's a fluke. I think Texas Tech is better, which they're not very good either, honestly, but I would pick Texas Tech. So.
I just think they were staring down the barrel of 0-2 in the conference and 1-4 overall. So I don't know. I've been on teams where momentum can swing like that, and I like Tech. I think if it wasn't for the comeback, Tech would win easily because that would have defeated the entire Baylor season with that loss, the way they were losing.
Sure.
But, yeah, I don't know. That's the only one I disagree with. I respectfully agree with all the others, though.
Kenny, anything else on these games?
I respectfully agree with all the other ones. I disrespectfully disagree.
I don't mean it that way, you know.
Oh, shoot. Amazing. Anything else, Kenny, on these games?
Nothing on these games. However, it is 9:40.
It is time to get out of here.
I wake up at 12 for work.
Okay, well, make sure you guys like, subscribe, tell your friends, get your mom, your dad, brother, sister, your dog, your son, dog, friend, invisible friend. Make sure all your accounts are subscribed to the Purple Pod, which we have talked about rebranding at some point. So right now, make sure you subscribe, like, to the Purple Pod.
That's right.
And we appreciate everyone. We're going to be back after the game, hopefully with Kobe Savage's dad, to talk about the K-State win. He is available to talk about it on Sunday. I'm hoping that we can do it on Sunday. We'll recap all the Big 12 games as well and talk about K-State's win, hopefully. So thanks, everyone, for watching. I'm Steve.
I'm Ken.
And I'm the Purple Pod.
Thanks, everyone, for watching, and go Cats, baby.